Hello and welcome to this quick and rejuvenating yoga flow. Before we get started, I have got 2 blocks. They're not essential for the practice, but I always love to have them nearby. So if you have them, great. If you want a suggestion for something that's similar to a block, then you can use a book or a bottle, anything that you can use it as a little balance. And a pillow or a bolster for under the sit bones. This is a really great practice for first thing in the morning or lunchtime, just to give you a little bit of a new lease of life. And also in the evening, if you haven't really done a lot of movement in the day, this is also really nice to do as well. So we're going to start in a cross-legged position. I always like to have a block under my sit bones, just to give my hips a little bit of a lift, and to keep them either in line or a bit higher than the knees. Wherever your hands are, just place them down wherever feels natural and most comfortable. And then just start to close down the eyes or soften the gaze. Send your awareness down towards your 2 sit bones. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, gentle sigh. And then closing the lips, breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. So we have a theme for this class, and it is presence, not physical presence, just being present in this moment. So whatever might be on your mind that has happened yesterday or today or happening tomorrow, then see if you can just invite those thoughts just to be at one side and be present in the body, in the now. And if it helps, I always like to use the breath just to switch me back in to that moment of being present. And if you'd like a little mantra, which is always nice to repeat to yourself every time that you lose focus, you can repeat, I am present. And you can say that either out loud because you're at home, or you can say it in your mind. And we're going to use that breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. If you'd like to use your Ujjayi breath, you can start to restrict the back of your throat. As you inhale, arch the spine and lift the gaze. Seated cat-cow. As you exhale, round through the spine, send your gaze towards your navel. Let's go for 2 more of those. Breathing in, open the chest. Exhale, we round. 1 more, inhaling. Exhale to round. Come back up to seated, reach your right hand away, lift the left arm nice and high, coming into a beautiful side stretch. Stay here for a breath, inhaling. Exhale. Lovely, reaching up and over to the other side, left hand reaches nice and far away. Reach that top hand up to the sky, gaze to your elbow crease, breathe in, breathing out. Lovely, come back to the center and then just wiggle off of that yoga prop, if you have one, wedged under you. We're going to come round to all 4s. So get the hands under the shoulders, spreading the fingers, and then from here just start to close down the eyes and send your awareness down towards your pelvic floor. Start to bring a little bit of a lift, Mula Bandha, root lock. And then from here, once you've found that lift, send the contraction up towards the core muscles. So you might find that your spine starts to move. Maybe you tuck the tailbone slightly just to remove the arch. And that happens when you start to use your core muscles. You protect the lower spine. Spreading the fingers and then lifting up through the upper back. Shift your shoulders forward just a bit more so they're directly on top of the wrists. And then from here, we're going to curl all 10 toes under and then float the knees 1 inch off the mat. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Lovely, keep doming here. Spread the shoulder blades. Exhale. One more breath. Breathing out. Lovely, and then send the hip bones high to the sky. Downward facing dog. Spreading the fingers, checking in with their feet, make sure they're nice and hip width distance. Tiny bend through the knees, lift the tailbone nice and high. And see if you can take some weight off of your wrists here. So spreading them out to all the fingertips, using the hands. Your hasta bandhas. Lovely, and then as you inhale, lift up onto the tipped toes. And then exhale, lower the heels. Lovely, 2 more of those, breathing in. Exhale, lower the heels, draw your chest towards your thighs. 1 more, inhaling. Exhale. Reaching the right leg high to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. And then from here, we're going to do a nice big circle with that top leg. Thighs come together. And then we open that knee out to the side, coming back to split dog. Lovely, re-extend, close the hip. Looking forward, we're going to place the foot between the hands and coming into a nice low lunge. Sweep both arms high and then start to switch on that left glute. And when you do that, you might find that you start to lift the hips slightly and tuck the tailbone. Fingertips reach up to the ceiling. 1 more breath. And then hands come down, stepping it back to find a plank. Squeeze the thighs together, dropping the knees. Lower the chest, exhale. Inhale to lift a cobra, pressing the toes into the mat, hover the hands. And then from here, sending it back to child's pose. And then straight back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale to arrive. Soft exhale. On your next inhale, float the left leg high. Exhale, you bend the knee, open the hip. Knees come together, nice big circle. Find that split dog. Close the hip, roll that thigh in. Knee comes to the nose. Gently place the foot between the hands and then we rise up, low lunge. Squeeze that back glute. Reach the fingertips, soften through the shoulders. And then bring the hands down. Step it back to find plank. And then lower down. Option here is you can keep the knees lifted. Inhale, open the chest, cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, send it back, downward facing dog. Lovely. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale, reach the right leg high, 3-legged dog. Knee comes to the nose. Inhale, we rise up, high lunge. And then soften through the shoulders. See if you can bring a deeper bend into that front leg. And if the back knee starts to bend, that's fine. Exhale. 1 more breath. As you exhale, we're going to lower that bottom knee all the way down so it just about touches the mat. And then we're going to lift it straight back up again. Let's go for 2 more of those. Exhale down. Inhale to lift. Exhale down. Inhale, we lift. Reach the fingertips forward. Coming into a pistol. I think it's called a pistol lunge. I could be wrong. I'll check it after class. And then from here, we're going to go straight into warrior 2. So we lift up the chest and shoulders, widen the stance, roll that back foot in so it's facing the side. And then just having a quick look over that front foot, making sure that the knee is tracking over the front toe. Breathing in. And then as you exhale, maybe you deepen into that front knee a little bit more. One more breath. Exhale, soften through the shoulders. Lengthen through the front leg. We're going to heel toe that back foot in, a couple of steps, bringing the hands to the hips and find that warrior one position. So the front foot's pointing forward, back foot's off to the corner, right hand comes around to the lower back, and then we sweep that left arm high. I'm going to use my brick here. From here, the left hand comes down to the floor, coming into your variation of Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Now from here, you can either have your hand on your thigh if you have no brick, and if you want to come into a more traditional pose, you can bring the block to the outside edge of that front foot. Twisting the upper back, send your gaze up to the sky. Maybe you lift up that top hand. One more breath. Roll the hips so they're nice and square. And then from here, this top hand is going to come down to the brick. And then we're going to widen the stance back to that warrior two position. From here, reaching the left hand up and over, extended side angle. Lifting the gaze up to the ceiling. And then see if you can lift the insteps of your feet here as well. Spreading the toes. Lovely. We're going to roll onto the ball of the back foot, so both knees point forward, and then dropping that back knee down to the floor. Untucking the toes, hands come together in prayer center, and then hooking the left elbow onto the front thigh. So this is a modified twisted position. If you want to, you can go into the full expression, lifting up the back knee. Any other variations, you're welcome to extend the arms or going into a bind if you're feeling warm enough. One more breath. Gaze up to the ceiling. And then release, frame that front leg. Find your plank. Option to drop the knees. Lower the chest all the way down. This time we're going to come into locust pose. So reaching the hands either behind you or ahead of you. We're going to lift the knees, lift the chest, gently tuck the chin. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, lovely. Hands come under the shoulders. Send the hips back. And then up to downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhaling. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep the left leg high. Three-legged dog. Knee comes down to the nose. We're going to rise up. High lunge. And then soften the shoulders. Lovely. Dropping that back knee all the way to the ground. And then inhale, we rise. Exhale for 2. Inhale to lift. Exhale for 3. Inhale, we lift. Reach the fingers forward. Arrow lunge. There we go. That's it. Just come to me. Reach the fingers and almost feel like your whole body is resting on this front thigh. From here, we're going to open up Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Gaze over that front hand. Bring a nice deep bend into that front leg. I'm going to turn to face the other side. And then from here, lengthening through the front leg, bring your hands to your hips. Send your weight forward so you're in that warrior one position. Left hand comes around to the lower back. Inhale, you reach the right hand, and then hinging from the hips, coming forward. Beautiful. So from here, you can bring the hand down to the block. Notice how it feels on this side. Roll the chest round, send the gaze up to the ceiling. One more breath. And then from here, bring that top hand down to the brick. And then we find that warrior two position. From here, reaching the top hand over towards the front corner of the room. Open the chest, lift the gaze, extended side angle. Lift the insteps of your feet. Breathing in, open the chest. Exhale, roll that thigh. Both knees point forward, both toes point forward. And then from here, lifting the chest and shoulders on top of the hips. And then we're going to bring the hands together, rolling that right elbow to the outside edge of the left leg. Find that twist. And then maybe you stay here, or maybe you lift up that back leg. Rotating the chest all the way around. See if you can get the hands in line with your breastbone. Squeeze the glutes. Gently release. Frame the front leg. And then stepping it back to find plank. Your variation here, you can keep the knees lifted or you can lower all the way down. And coming into cobra or upward facing dog. Beautiful. Exhale, sending it back, downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Gentle sigh, exhaling. Bend the knees, look forward, stepping or floating, your choice, coming to the top of the mat. Send your feet to hip width distance. And then a little bit wider than hip width distance. Start to turn the toes out to the side, and we're going to sit the hips back to Malasana, yogi squat. Blocks are here if you want to make it a slightly more modified version. You can sit down on the block, or you can take the block away and have it completely active. See if you can get the chest lifted, shoulders away from the ears. Let's take one more breath. Exhaling. Beautiful. Bring the hands to the floor. If you have a crow, you're welcome to go into crow. Otherwise, a little halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Turn the toes back out to the side. Sit the hips back, coming down to Malasana. If you're in crow, come back to Malasana. We're going to reach the arms high to the sky. Coming up to standing. And then exhale, back down to yogi squat. 2 more times. Breathing in. Exhale down. Inhale to lift. Exhale down. Lovely. Now we're in our yogi squat at the bottom. See if you can go hands free. Lift your arms, but keep down low in your squat. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Coming back up to standing. Perfect. Wiggle the toes together back to hip width distance. We're going to come into standing. So if it feels good, stay at the top end of your mat. I'm going to face you just so that you can see what I'm doing from the front. So we're going to place all the weight into the right leg, lifting up nice and tall and floating the left knee into our chest. So from here, bringing that right hand to the outside edge of that left leg. Left hand comes around to our lower back. So I'll show you from the side. And then from here, lifting up nice and tall, rotating the chest round. Option here is you can hold onto the foot. You can grab hold of a strap and maybe start to extend that left leg. Option is you can also extend the left hand to the back of the room, and maybe even the gaze follows. Let's take one more breath here in our standing twist. And then coming back round to the front, keeping that knee lifted, squeeze it into the chest. And then we bring the right hand to the hip. Left hand either goes to the inner thigh or wrapping it around the big toe. And then we come to our standing hip opener. Send your gaze over that right shoulder. And then perhaps you extend that right hand. Let's go for 2 breaths. Beautiful. Bring that leg back round to the front. If it feels okay, you can keep that hand round the toe, or you can bend that knee, keeping the knee in the chest. Keep that left shoulder back in line with the hip. And then we're going to let go, keeping that leg out in front of us for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lower down. Lovely. Give the hips a little shake. So we're getting on our feet today. Perfect. And then coming back into your Tadasana, feet in your neutral stance, palms facing forward. Spread your left toes and then place all the weight into that left foot, floating the right knee. From here, we're going to bring the right hand round to the lower back. Left hand either comes to the outside edge or around the outside edge of that foot, extending that leg. Keeping the hips facing forward, we're going to just twist through the mid part and upper part of the back, thoracic. And then perhaps you send the gaze and maybe even extend that right hand to the back of the room. One more breath. Relaxing the shoulders. And then come back round to the front, either squeezing the knee into the chest, and then we bring the left hand to the hip, right hand to the inner thigh, or wrapping around the toes, and then we open that leg out to the side. So you can go for the bent leg variation or the extended leg variation, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, and then potentially starting to open up, extending that left hand, and keep tucking the tailbone. If it feels okay balancing, you can bring a gentle bend into the knees just to stabilize the knee a bit more. One more breath. Beautiful. Bring that leg round to the front, whether you've got a toe bind or you're holding onto the knee. Roll that right shoulder back. Bring that left hand to your hip. And then we let go, extending the leg out in front of us. We hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, lower down, 1. I think I might have missed an extra count there. We'll worry about that next time. Give your hips a little bit of a wiggle left to right. Maybe rotating through the hips. And we're going to come down to the mat and wind down. So come to find kneeling. Swivel round onto your hips, hip bones, and then bringing the legs out in front of you. Now this is up to you, this next part. You can come into a restorative forward fold or an active forward fold. I will show you both options. Active first, so just making sure that the tailbone is lifted and we're avoiding this rounding position through the lower back. So if it helps, you can always thread a block under and sit on the block. From here, if you have a strap, you can wrap the strap around the balls of your feet, otherwise holding onto the calves or holding onto the toes. Roll the elbows in, switch on the biceps, and find a nice active forward fold. Find length here through the base of the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head. And then a tiny tuck at the chin. And the feeling that we want to have here is almost like a cobra back bend. So we really pull the chest and the collarbones forward and open. If you want to go for a restorative forward fold and you have blocks, you can place your head on the blocks, rounding through the spine. You can rest your forearms, and if you have no blocks, then you can just round through the spine and enjoy a forward fold where you're hanging down. Let's count 3 more breaths. One more breath here. Beautiful. And then slowly bring yourself back up to seated. We're going to shimmy our hip bones down the mat, bending the knees, feet to hip width distance. Reach your fingertips forward and then roll down through the spine. And before we come into our relaxation part of the practice, coming into Suchirandrasana, threading the needle. Now this is a modified variation of pigeon pose. So from here, the right ankle comes onto the left thigh, and then we thread the hands round that left thigh. Now if you want to make this a little bit deeper, you can wrap your hands around the shins, but once you've got that position, make sure it's comfortable enough for you to rest your shoulder blades and the back of your head completely on the mat. Take a deep breath in and exhale through the nose. Breathing in, exhaling. One more breath. And release. Lovely. Gently release the feet. Bring the left ankle to the thigh, going straight into the other side. Find a position that works. Make sure that both shoulder blades and the back of the head are firmly resting on the ground. Breathing in for 1. Exhale for 1. Inhale 2. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. Lovely. Release the thighs. Bending the knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Rolling left to right. And then from here we're going to extend the legs, coming into Shavasana. Roll the knees and the ankles wide to the side. Palms facing the ceiling. Switch off that breath. And take a nice inhale through the nose. And a big sigh. Allow the space between the eyebrows to soften. The jaw starts to release. And the eyes roll to the back of the head. And you're welcome to close your practice lying down in Shavasana. You're also welcome to stay in Shavasana for a little bit longer if that feels good for you. Otherwise, start to bring your hands together in prayer center. Press the thumbs into your heart space. Take a moment to offer up some gratitude. Bring yourself back to the intention of the practice, repeating the mantra in your head 3 times. I am present. Raising the thumb knuckles to the third eye space. Thank yourself for practicing. Namaste.